We have Cal Perry in Iowa City, Iowa, which is, of course, a university town where I think was where we were speaking to each other from last night. Cal, you have more about exactly what unfolded here and how this app failed?
Yeah, well, listen, we've heard from the company Shadow, and what they've said was it was actually the transmission of that data that was the hiccup. That was the issue for them, not the inputting of the data. I suppose it doesn't really matter if the data is not going anywhere. But it sort of gives you some more detail on what happened. The other thing worth noting, and just picking up what Pete was talking about, the phone's not working is really confusing people here. And I think the country today is sort of talking about, should Iowa go first and should we still caucus? You were anchoring last night when we sort of watched this unbelievably tedious, difficult, complicated process of plugging these numbers into these equations. People here are upset. I mean, this took a lot of effort. There was thousands of volunteers. People spent, 4 hours on Monday night. And so actually people of Iowa are wondering whether or not Iowa should keep being first, Casey.
I mean, it's just such it's so stunning for, I think for many of us, too, who have covered this process for many years. Iowa has such a place kind of in the canon. Cal, what do we know about what happens next? We know we're going to get partial results at 5 p.m., but it doesn't sound like they're even going to have the entire slate of results ready.
No, and there's like a Yogi Berra saying about how it's mostly useless, the 50% results. I mean, the campaigns cannot do a whole lot with that information. And what you sort of pointed out last night, what we pointed out all day, is, of course, everybody's taking a victory lap, taking advantage of that, trying to keep the campaigns rolling. I also don't know what happens if they haven't sorted out the data by 5 p.m. There's no way, really, frankly, to do a recount. You have these presidential preference cards where you fill out both sides. But I know that was an issue in the precinct that we were in. There was more cards than there were people in the rooms. In the other precinct that we were in, precinct number 3, there were problems because people left in the middle of the process. The rules had changed from 4 years ago. So I think the Democratic Party here in Iowa is dealing with a number of different factors, the least of which is that the data may not have made it to them. I think they're sort of considering how do they get these numbers out, and if they need to do a recount, is that even possible? And I know that everybody's freaking out now that I'm using the word recount, but we're there. I mean, we're here in Iowa, and we still don't have results, and it's, coming up on 3 p.m. local the day after the caucus, Casey.
Indeed it is. Cal Perry, great reporting through last night and into today. It's always great to have you, my friend.
Hey, NBC News viewers, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.